I'ma let the champagne bottle pop. I'ma take it to the top. Show, I'ma make it hot, baby.
It's the very first episode of Blue Line Podcast. How do I even? It's just a bunch of it's just a bunch of friends talking hockey, and just shooting the shit. Honestly, I'm Brian. Hi. This is to my right, or in this point, she's underneath me on her screen. That's Cameron. And then you got the other one who's underneath me. That's Joe. Joe. Yeah, there he is.
I love it.
It's a goofy ass intro. Who cares? But
Who cares?
we're all goofy ass people.
Fun. We're having fun.
Yeah. Dude, for first episode of this podcast, let's just say hockey this year has been really, really good. It's just been really good hockey.
Unless you're a fan of a team in the Western Conference.
Don't be that way.
Yeah.
What do you mean? There's nothing going on.
I didn't get my team uprooted for you to say that.
I'm so sorry. I forgot about that.
There's nothing going on. They relocated the damn team to Utah. Fine.
Have fun in Utah. That's all I can say. Listen, Utah's a beautiful state. Salt Lake City is gorgeous.
I'm good.
I've been to
They don't
Salt Lake
want me
City
there, I'll
before.
tell you that.
You know, I've been there. I've been to Salt Lake City. It's gorgeous. You know, I think as much as you don't want to hear it, I hate to break it to you, as much as you don't want to hear it, I think hockey is going to thrive in Salt Lake City due to the fact that there's really not much else to do except go snowboarding and going to a hockey game now. So I think that they are going to thrive over there.
And no one messes with the Utah Jazz.
Well,
that's probably a hot take to start the podcast off with.
You want to know what another hot take is that I see on Twitter a lot? People say that the NBA playoffs are a better atmosphere than the hockey playoffs. And I will fight to the death that the NHL playoffs are the best atmosphere you will ever see in sports.
Well, that's because NHL playoffs in general is just it's just a way different vibe than just NBA playoffs, because it's like I've seen a lot of people just be bandwagon fans for teams because they're in the playoffs, I mean, best case scenario, I'll give an example of when LeBron James and Chris Bosh joined Miami Heat. Literally everybody, when they formed that big three, literally everybody was just a bandwagon fan, and it was
right, Brian, it's alright because they got their shit pushed in by the Mavericks in their first finals appearance.
Yeah, and then it was the next year after that they ended up winning, and then they won they went back to back the year after. I mean, but it just showed comes to show that you can be a fan and all stuff for one team, but it's just if you're gonna be a bandwagon fan because that a specific team is in the playoffs, I mean that's just I don't know, man.
Listen, basketball is a good sport. It's not in my top 3. In all honesty, it's a good sport.
It's not in mine either.
I will watch it if it, Christmas time, I will watch the Christmas games because you know what, basketball is fun to watch. But people saying that the NBA playoffs are the number one atmosphere in all of sports are very, very, very mistaken. And they clearly have never watched or been to a playoff hockey game or even a hockey game in general.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop a hot take about the NBA. And it's not really about the NBA, I guess. And then we're going to segue into the first point. The thing about basketball is I can only watch March Madness. That's the only entertaining thing about basketball to me. I don't enjoy the rest. It's just personal.
I can't even do March Madness.
Oh my god, March Madness is literally the biggest shit show ever, because it's just all these different teams are in there trying to move on, which is really fun to bet on and all that stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, but at the same time it's just it's just way too much to like comprehend when you have that many games going on like all at once. Like in
It's a
one
great
day.
Yeah.
it's a great concept, but I feel like it would only work for basketball. You can't have that
Yeah,
with
well,
football.
that's
You
the
can't
other
have
thing.
that with hockey. You can't have it with baseball. I feel like it just only works for basketball.
Yeah.
The bracket thing's my favorite. I don't know if you guys know the statistic. You're more likely to get struck by lightning than you are to have a perfect March Madness bracket.
You're also more likely to be struck by lightning than win the lotto.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, everyone that though.
Yeah. I mean,
Like 1 in 15,000 to get struck by lightning or something like that.
I remember this one dude that I know. He like literally had the first round like all correct and all stuff, and he put money on all the teams to like win for like the first like to move on, and he won. I think he won like what was it like $500,000, and he only put in like $5 for like to win 500,000. And it was like, what the fuck is that, man? Like,
They said that, like, I think this is mistaken. I could be wrong, but originally when they were doing brackets and stuff, the like payout to get a perfect March Madness bracket was like $1 million because
That's
no one could do it.
It was the million
I think
dollar
it's,
March
I
Madness.
think that's still a thing.
yeah,
Mhm.
is
Anyone who has a perfect bracket wins $1 million because it's impossible, so they're never gonna lose money.
yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
They can never do the same thing with like hockey. Honestly, you can like
But
you
yeah,
can,
hockey you have less of a chance or more of a chance to win. That's my point.
yeah,
Because
but
there's
even
less
then,
teams.
yeah, but even then, it's just like you have to pick like specific teams like to win, like every single series, and honestly, it's virtually impossible to know who's gonna win like those games. That's the thing.
Because there's always an underdog story in March Madness. Always.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but I
definitely.
mean,
Like
it's kind of
hockey,
the same thing.
unfortunately, is predictable.
I mean, no, not really. Look at Vancouver this year. I mean, they had Thatcher Demko go down, and Silvos brought them. God damn it, I really don't want to say it,
I
but
thought
he brought
I
them
thought
to Game
Vancouver
7
was
of the
gonna
second
win.
round. You know what? I can sleep good at night now, knowing Vancouver and Carolina are not in the playoffs.
You know, I thought the Cup final was gonna be a '94 rematch, so I
No,
was like convinced. And then I was like, if Vancouver, I thought Vancouver was gonna go all the way just because of the way they started the season.
Yeah,
But
Once
then
I
once
knew
you once you lose Besser and stuff, you're out, right? Like,
once I saw that Demko was out, I said, okay, so Nashville has a good chance here, and they shot themselves in the foot in the first round, and they went up against Edmonton, and I was like, all right, so Edmonton should take care of business in 5 or 6, but it wound up going 7, and that's all Silvos right there, in all honesty, because let me ask you guys this: where has Elias Pettersson been?
I'm pretty sure he's been golfing in Cabo for the last 6 weeks.
That's what it seems like, right?
mhm,
He has what, 4 points in the playoffs, 5 points?
yeah, something like that.
Somebody fact check me on that. I'm very curious on how many points, but it
What,
sure,
Pedersen?
yeah,
I'm gonna put it on my phone, not my tab here, but
Mm.
give me
it sure
5 seconds.
seems like he didn't have more than like 5 or 6 points the entire playoffs. He was very non-existent.
Entire playoffs.
Yeah,
Please give me what I'm looking for. Please give me what it's of course not Philip. Please give me what I'm looking for. In the playoffs, he in 13 games he had 1 goal, 5 assists,
so 6 points.
Yeah,
So
6 points.
he's been non-existent the entire playoffs.
yeah. I mean, even like his shots on goal as well is just like not even existent at all. I
No,
mean,
he's not. It feels like he's refusing to get involved. He's scared to get involved.
Well, they started the chant last night. Let's go, Petey. That's what it was, right?
Yeah,
Or
because
something
they
like
were
that.
sick of having their superstar not show up.
Well, I don't blame them.
But if you're in the playoffs, you cannot be playing scared like that when you're a star player. You need to be the one
Let
to
me
step
let me
up.
backtrack that one though. Same thing's happening. I'm gonna get cooked for this. Same thing's kind of happening to Connor McDavid. Haven't seen him much the playoffs.
100%. Oh,
the
I'll pull
first
up his
round.
stat line to be
I
precise.
think David has I think he has like 13 or 14 points right
Yeah.
now.
But I think but what is it? That was like the first round was when he was popping off a lot, and and then it was like once they went into the series against like Vancouver, like this past series. I mean, it it's like there have been times where he's just been non-existent, but at the same time, like he's there when like it's crucial to like for like second chances, but even shots
Yeah,
on goal as well. I mean, he's also there like to shoot the
but
puck.
Brian, that's fine because doesn't Cody Ceci have 20 points right now?
Oh, dude,
Probably.
CC is
I
insane.
think
That was crazy
he's
last night.
he's the one who has 20 points for Edmonton right now, right?
So I'm gonna give you this Connor McDavid stat line just in case anyone's
Let's
wondering.
hear it.
In 12 games played, he has 2 goals and 19 assists. My
21
problem is
Yeah.
21 points in 12 games.
That's
My
not
thing is
funny.
like
That's
with
not
the goals
that's not
though, like you would
non-existent
think
right
he could
now.
score more. Like I'm not saying anything about assists, that's good. Like 21 points in 12 games is
Yeah.
nuts. But
Yeah.
I'm saying like you would think he'd have more than 2 goals.
But at the end of the day, if you're producing, you're producing. That's all that matters. You can't say
That's true.
he's not stepping up when he has 21 points in what is it, 12 games?
12 games.
Yeah, you're almost at you're almost at 2 points a game right there.
Yeah.
You can't say that's
That's
not
crazy.
producing.
I
You
mean-
can't say that's not producing.
I mean, you know, other players that have been producing as well as like, you know, Mika Zibanejad, like Vinny Trocheck,
Ryder.
like Kreider,
I'm gonna look this up right now.
like all these guys from like the Rangers and all stuff. Like they're also producing too. Like they're averaging like assists and all stuff like every single game, and they all average like maybe like what is it like 1 or 2 points a game, like depending on.
I want to segue this a little bit just so we can get to the not the first round, the second round of the playoffs, like the last round that just ended. But I'm gonna take what you're saying and I'm gonna start with Carolina versus New York. That was the big thing with Carolina. I thought we didn't see a lot of Sebastian Aho. We didn't see a lot of Svechnikov until like closer to the end. Like, but you were getting goal. Like you got there. They won the game because of Brady Shea. Like it's like little things like that where it's like good for you. Like your whole team can produce, but you have stars for a reason. And like Jake Gensel, great signing, not a problem. But like, where's Aho? Where's Svechnikov? Like Svechnikov was playing physical, but like those are the goal scorers you have.
Yeah.
So where's that?
So Cameron, to be fair, Aho has 12 points in 11 games in the playoffs.
I believe that, but I'm saying like again, goals wise, those are usually your goal scorers.
Yeah, I mean he's got 4 goals, but at the end of the day too, I feel like when Carolina's power play goes, what was it, 5 for 39 in 2 series combined?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna get goals out of anybody. I don't care how good you are. If you're going 5 for 39 on the power play, your points are gonna be skewed. Your goals are gonna be down. It's gonna be a shit show across the board. In all honesty.
And I think that was the biggest problem with Carolina was that their power plays, like in both series against like the Islanders and against the Rangers, was just like abysmal. It was.
That's where you're. No, I will tell you right now. Their power play against the Islanders was fantastic, and here's the reason why. Their power play against the Islanders was fantastic because the Islanders do not know how to set up properly on a penalty kill. We've seen that all year long this year. We saw it last year. We saw it the year before, and the year before that. They cannot set up properly on the penalty kill. They don't know what they're doing. They can't clear the puck. If you have an open lane to shoot it down the middle of the ice and you're hitting bodies along the boards, that's a major problem.
I always thought New York played, not the Islanders. I always thought the Rangers were really good at that for Carolina's power play, which is why it seemed they were minimized. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I feel like getting it down and like at least having some sort of shorthanded chance was always big for the Rangers.
But even then, when Carolina had possession, on the power play, they still couldn't really get shots off. The shots they were getting off were not high quality shots. They were just shooting from the point and hoping for a tip, like every single goal they got in that series, except for 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what happened with Gensel. Like half of Gensel's goals are tip-ins, aren't they?
Every single goal Carolina scored against the Rangers, except for 2 or 3, were all tips. That's all it was.
Yeah.
They really didn't they didn't get anything out in front of the net. They really didn't make quality shots. They were just really just getting tip-ins in front of the net.
There were also very little times where it was like they would get like shorthanded goals. I mean, if they did get like any shorthanded goals, more against like the Islanders, where they got like shorthanded goals. But
And
Yeah.
you want to know a crazy stat I saw during I think it was Game 6? The Rangers had more shorthanded goals in the series against Carolina than Carolina had power play goals against the Rangers.
Yeah, I did see that.
yeah, that's that's insane, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
that for a team who was supposed to have the number one power play, that is not good
hmm
whatsoever.
But that's what we were talking about earlier to like kind of backtrack. Not like we were talking about this on this, but we were talking about it earlier in the chat. We are like saying that Carolina had the best power play in the league, if not the series at least. So
Way
had
to
the
go.
Rangers shut that down?
I think they were just I think they came into that series too complacent after the Island. Honestly, crucify me for this, but Carolina did not beat the Islanders in a 5-game series. The
they.
Islanders beat themselves.
I was just gonna say the same thing. The Islanders beat themselves, and that's what the problem was, is that the Islanders like during the regular season, they played they played decent. Don't get me wrong, they played decent, but there was just a lot of like miscommunication, between plays and like just passing and all that stuff, and like shooting as well, that just got a little bit too that was just like a little bit too wonky for them. But then at the same time, it was like when it came to the playoffs itself, it was just they just took their foot off the gas, and
To
they just
backtrack off that,
mhm.
the Islanders, you have to keep in mind, almost didn't make it.
And you know who we can
Like
thank for that? You know who we can thank for that? We can
the
thank Lane Lambert
Philadelphia
for that.
Flyers.
No, we can thank Lane Lambert for that one
Oh yeah, that's true.
because Lane
Always, but the
Lambert.
Philadelphia Flyers too.
But if you listen to any of those press conferences with the players after Lane Lambert was fired, they said that he was running a circus and a clown show in that locker room. He
I
had
believe it.
no control over the locker room whatsoever. He didn't know what he was doing, and he was talking out of his ass 90% of the time. And then if you notice when Patrick Waugh came in, they were playing. I think it was something like 110-point pace under Patrick Waugh.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I don't wanna speculate because I don't want to get too far into said speculation. Do we think Pittsburgh would have given a better series than the Islanders?
no, and here's the
What about
reason
like
why I
Philly?
think no. Philly was cooked. Philly was cooked. The Islanders were coming in hot, but they just don't know what they're doing in the third period. If you notice, they had every game won up until the third period. And that's what happens when you have a team that has blown 20, 27 third period leads in the regular season.
I think the other problem was that, like, when you look at a player like Sidney Crosby from like Pittsburgh, like he he was he's the heart and soul of that team, right? But everybody around him just could not really capitalize a lot, and they couldn't get their shit together whatsoever. So I think like that's why they just they as well just didn't they lost track of where they wanted to go to. Same with Philly. I mean, Philly, they started off strong, then they just went on like a decline like there's no tomorrow. And then that was when the Islanders just said, "Hey, both of these guys are just fucking up a lot. Now is our time to squeeze in." They snuck in by a by like a by like a hair, and then they went up against Carolina, and they just said, "Well, fuck, we're done."
But to
Yeah.
piggyback off of your comment, Cameron, if you want me to be honest with you, I think the matchup that would have given a team a different problem would have been.
Detroit?
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying it's a problem. Like giving the team a problem, I think the series would have played out a little bit different. I still think the outcome would have been the same somewhat, but I think we would have had a better first round matchup between the Rangers and Penguins than the Rangers and Capitals.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that, but only because I think honestly the Penguins would have at least stolen one because I
That's
feel
what I'm
like
saying.
Crosby, Malkin, like they're gonna play hard against the Rangers. That's just them. Like, that's how it is. But like the Caps, besides like TJ Oshie and like maybe Tom Wilson, didn't seem like
And
they were really into it. All
no,
seemed like they
and
were kind of ready to go.
that's what happens when you hold Ovechkin to what was it, 6 shots on goal through 4 games
Mm-hmm.
It was something crazy. He have like zeros across the board
Yep.
in the first
Yep.
game. First game.
Yep.
in the first game or the
But
whole
don't
series.
the first game. But don't forget though, because the Islanders were third in the Metro. They weren't a wild card team. They were third in the Metro. So it's not like they really like kind of snuck in there. They controlled their own destiny.
Yeah. But
That's
do
true.
but do you
Their own
feel
destiny.
but do you feel like they were like an underdog team?
Who, the Islanders?
Yeah,
In the playoffs or to get into the playoffs?
to get into the playoffs.
Um, if you would have asked me that after the Nashville loss, I'd say 100%. They should have blown the core up. They should have blown that team up at that point. Um, but once they started controlling their own destiny and started going on those win streaks under Patrick Roy, I felt very confident they were going to make it. I didn't see them going far. I did have them coming out of the first round, which they really should have. But yeah, I saw them as an underdog in the playoffs, not to make it. I felt very confident, especially the last 2 weeks, to make the playoffs.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Don't
They
forget.
They had the Varlamov career run, didn't they? He like went crazy.
Yeah, not only that, like if you look at how they played very very solid hockey the last 3 weeks of the season, very solid hockey.
Yeah.
And if they would have just continued that for another week, they could have that series could have went to 7.
I mean, I think it was like the very last game against the Rangers when they played. I think that was back in April if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Like that game there, I think, they just needed, they needed like 1 point to like stay in third, and then they just needed I forgot what the scenario was at that time, but they had controlled their destiny like you said. Um but then it was like
Well, because that was the thing. I think the Flyers lost. And
but we
that's how
also had
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Flyers had to lose for the Islanders to clinch.
but we also had games in hand on Philly.
That's right. That's right.
We had 2 games in hand on Philly going into the last 2 weeks of the season. So there was 4 points to make up there, and we were tied in points.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what it came down to. But in all honesty, if you want another hot take, I feel like the Islanders and Rangers would have been a better matchup in the first round for both of those series.
It would have been definitely more fun, I think.
I think that series also would have went 6.
I think it would have been 5.
Only reason why I say no, I say no to that and say 6. The Rangers still would have won, obviously, but I think the Islanders match up a lot better against the Rangers, no matter what year we're in. I think they match up better against the Rangers than Detroit, Pittsburgh, Washington, Philly, Carolina. Carolina, don't even get me started with them.
The only team I'd argue for that is Pittsburgh, because I feel like Pittsburgh always gives them a good game.
I mean, sort of Islanders though.
No, I agree, but I'm saying I think
So-
out of all the teams you listed, I think Pittsburgh's probably the closest.
Oh, I mean, but the only way that would have happened was if Pittsburgh snuck in over Washington.
Right, and that wasn't going to happen.
No, but I also was hoping that the Islanders would have snagged that wild card spot instead of going against Carolina. But I also did not want Washington getting the Metro spot.
Yeah.
Because God forbid if we would have came out of that and being able to play, even for both teams, being able to play at home in the second round, where you're not hopping on a flight or hopping on a bus and you're playing at home, sleeping at home, I think that would have been a much better matchup in general for both teams.
Right, I can get behind that.
Now, what do you think? Now, who do you think would have been a better matchup for like Florida Panthers? Tampa Bay, like
For Florida?
yeah, like I mean against Tampa Bay, like it makes sense, but at the same time, like
I thought that was a good matchup.
I think Carolina would have been a great matchup.
I can get behind it.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to keep my mouth shut because I'm not spoiling anything for later.
I feel like Florida and Tampa, it's like the Battle of Florida. Like I think it was actually a pretty good series.
Oh,
I didn't
no, it
I
was
didn't
a
get to
great
watch
series.
most of those games, but like I felt like that was a pretty good series.
That was a great series. It was, very entertaining because as a biased Islanders fan, seeing the Lightning dynasty go away is fantastic in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So
We were talking about that
even
earlier too. Stamkos
yeah,
possibly on his way out. I don't want to get too far into that because we haven't even cracked the second round of the playoffs yet. But
I mean,
we
I
haven't
think
even
we
gotten to
started.
the West.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
yeah,
We haven't even
started.
got to the West yet.
We haven't even. No, I was gonna say I actually wanted to get to the West and then come back to the Eastern, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
That's fine with me. Let's stick with the
Because that's
first
how I
round.
have it listed.
Yeah, let's go.
Mm.
Let's
So
stick with the first round and go round by round.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk Colorado Dallas because that one's a shocker to everyone.
That was second round.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like to go from Carolina, New York to transfer
okay,
from that
yeah.
conversation to go Colorado Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I'm
we're
not
gonna have to
surprised
touch on
by
every
that.
matchup from the last round anyway, so we may as well start.
I'm not surprised by that.
I am. Here's why. I love Dallas. I think they're a great team. I think they're gonna have a lot of good games coming up. I think Colorado's Stars, as much as they produce, didn't do enough and didn't keep their confidence level high. So it screwed Colorado's team, and that's why they lost. Because Jake Ottinger, which is something I wanted to talk about, so I will go off on that. Jake Ottinger, brick wall, great goalie. Definitely let up a few mishaps here and there. Kind of had like I think most of Colorado's wins were come from behind wins, if I'm not mistaken. But like I feel like that was their biggest problem was Jake Ottinger. And I feel like McKinnon, there's a quote, I can't pull it up right now, but there was a quote from, I believe it was game 5, where McKinnon said that their confidence level was not high. And I'm like, but as one of the leaders on that team, you have to try and keep that in the locker room. So I don't know. I think that they just lost it, and that's where Dallas took over.
They honestly, I think by the time that they played against Dallas, they just lost a lot of momentum, and I think that's a big problem because it's like when you start up, I think they started the series. No, they started like in Dallas, and then when they played like the next 2 games at home and all stuff, I think that's where they just like you just saw like the collapse of like Colorado, like right then and there.
I don't want to cut you off, but then it's popped into my head, so I'd like to address it a little bit. I think the loss of the loss of Nichushkin's a really big deal. As much as I personally don't like the fucking guy, sorry, but it's true. I think losing him as one of your, I don't want to say main goal scorers, but he was producing a lot for the team. Probably not your best look.
What about losing Devon Taves at the end of the series too?
That too. But I'm thinking Nichushkin probably had a little bit more of an impact, but Devon Taves definitely helps.
That was a good. You know what? But then you lose them both the same day too.
Exactly.
And that was just a double gut punch right there, and that's when I knew I was.
And that's where I think, honestly, I thought the game like that series was going to go 7. I thought Colorado was going to give Dallas a run for their money, but once that news came out, and then the Devon Taves news came out, I kind of was like, okay, makes me seem like Jake Ottinger's just going to have a free reign for the rest of the couple of games. I guess it was like that game 5 when they lost them. Or was that game 6? Or did that series only go 5? I can't even remember.
I
think it went 6. I think it went 6, and
It
I
did
think
go
it was
6.
Yeah.
All of them went 6, right?
except for Edmonton and Vancouver, which went 7.
No, because that went 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it did go 6?
Yeah, I think it was game
So
5.
did the news come out before game 5?
Correct. It came out about 2 hours before puck drop because I remember.
I was gonna say it was like 2 hours before puck drop, and they like lost 2 team members.
Uh-huh.
Well, the Nichushkin news came out 2 hours before puck drop. I think Devon Taves we knew was going to be out before that.
No. His was announced a half hour before puck drop.
Was it really?
I remember
My
being
bad.
on.
See, I don't keep up with the
everybody
Avs like that.
was
So
I remember
I never
seeing
kept up with the
everybody
Avs.
exploding when that news came out.
But that's pretty much. I think that the Avs did go on to win Game 5, but I do think Dallas just had the upper hand in Game 6, and it was just like it's one a win or go home situation as always. But it's like Jake Ottinger's just not gonna put up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just touch on how Wyatt Johnson is turning into a superstar?
He always had it in him. I'm not shocked.
He has been.
He's
How many points
comfortable.
does Cameron? How many points does he have?
Pulling it up.
You're gonna be our numbers person.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a few minutes because my NHL website's just not working right now.
I,
It keeps
I
loading
I
and
tried
it
looking
doesn't show up.
it up before and it wasn't working
It's
for
just
me
weird.
either.
So in 13 games, he's got 7 goals and 4 assists, so 11
Yeah.
points.
I mean, like we were talking
He's
about
comfortable.
before. The point he's almost at a point per game, but that goal total is up there. And
That was my kind of point. Backtracking a little bit, like with McDavid,
on
you
McDavid,
would
yeah.
think as someone who has 21 points in 12 games is insane. Like I'm not discrediting the guy at all
Yeah.
because he's talented, but 2 goals, like that's something like the 7 goals is something I feel like I'd see more from McDavid, not someone like Wyatt Johnson.
But don't forget
I'm gonna save that thought for the future.
But don't forget, like when you have Darnell Nurse on your team, you have Nugent Hopkins, you have Draisaitl on your team. You're not going to be the number one goal option. His role right now should be pass the puck to whoever's open and score goals.
The big one's Dylan Holloway, if I'm not mistaken, right? He's got some crazy numbers up there, right?
I think so.
I'll
You
Google
guys,
it.
you guys were pissed about that last night
The Dylan
my
Holloway
God.
thing?
Don't get me started about that, man.
with the no goal with his goal not counting. It was somebody else who got it.
It was Cody Cece.
Yeah, was it him?
It was Cody. Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yep.
I'm not going to name drop who it was, but someone did put Dylan Holloway in for first goal, and they thought Dylan Holloway tipped said goal in. And the NHL has decided to not change that, and it is absolutely Cody Cece's goal. And then I said, whoever bet Cody Cece for first goal hit some crazy money line and probably got paid hella. So
it's not
Dylan
Cody.
Holloway is actually not as crazy as I thought. In 12 games, he's only got 3 goals and 1 assist. But he's like I think these came in the last couple of games.
So Cody Cece also is not the person who we were thinking of for 20 points.
Well, you said that.
Yeah, but you also agreed.
No, I said that. I even said I was like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, no. He's got
It's
2
Cody
goals.
Cece, let's be real.
He has 2 goals and they came last night.
Did he really get 2 last night?
I think it was 2, right?
No, I think it was only the first one.
No.
It was the second one was Bouchard. I can't remember who scored the third one, but I think it was Cody Cece, Evan Bouchard, and then someone else.
I was barely paying attention to that game last night. No, it was Zach Hyman and Nugent Hopkins. It was Zach Hyman and Nugent Hopkins. I was barely paying attention.
Yeah, I was gonna say I knew it was something weird, but then like Connor Garland was the Vancouver first goal, and then who scored the second?
So do you want to know?
It was Draciol. Drastel? The hell? How do you pronounce his last name?
The guy from Vancouver.
Oh, the guy from Vancouver. It was
I know the guy's name.
It was Garland. Connor Garland.
No, Garland scored the first one. It wasn't the second one.
Oh, Hronek.
That's what I was thinking of. I couldn't think of the guy's name.
Yeah.
So do you want to know something crazy?
We all thought this is it. Vancouver's rallying back, and that did not happen.
You want to know something crazy? 4 out of the top 5 spots in point producers in the playoffs are all from Edmonton.
Is it McDavid, Draisaitl?
Draisaitl 1, McDavid 2, Bouchard 3, Hopkins 4.
No
I just said is it McDavid, Draisaitl, and he said
no.
no.
I was going in order.
I said the 2 names that I thought would be up there. I didn't say it was in that order.
I know, because we're gonna give Leon Draisaitl his flowers right now at 24 points right now.
24 and 12. Is that what it is?
24 and 12, 8 goals, 16 assists. We're gonna give him his flowers on that.
But
right
that's like those numbers are something I would expect more from McDavid. Not that Draisaitl's not talented again. But I'm saying like I love Draisaitl. I think he's extremely talented. But I think
that's-
like the 8 goals is something you would see more from McDavid personally.
But that's the only reason why I said no to that is because we're going to give him his flowers with his number 1 point producing right now with his 8
Oh,
goals
yeah.
right now. He is playing with also 21 minutes.
That touches that series a little bit. But let's talk about Shelov's really quick.
Okay,
Crazy.
Okay, Emily, if you're listening, I'm going to shut my mouth and you two can have fun on this one. I am not saying a goddamn word.
I was told I'm only supposed to talk about Shelov's for 5 minutes straight. I don't know if I'm able to do that, but we're going to try. So my thing with that is you come in, I don't know anything about the guy. I don't want to give like the credit where I'm going to give credit where credit's due, but I'm saying like I don't know enough to be like, by the way, like this guy. But like you come in, Thatcher Demko's out. But he doesn't even come in first. Casey DeSmith comes in first. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Casey DeSmith comes in, gets hurt as well. So now you're down 2 goalies. And I don't know if Shelov's was like a backup goaltender situation or like what.
Yeah, I think he was
a
the AHL. I think he was a starter.
Was he the AHL?
Yeah. I think he was
that
the starter at that time.
So yeah, he comes in. In my opinion, he rips. He's doing great. And then at that point, you get to Game 7 in Edmonton, and you drop 3 because they scored 3 straight, didn't they? And then Vancouver came back and scored 2, or was it 2?
It was 3. It was 3-0, and then it was a 3-2 final.
Yeah, and then we all thought they were going to force OT, and that did not happen.
Mm-hmm. It was 3-0 like going into the third period, and then
Right.
in the third period was when like Vancouver came out of nowhere with like 2 goals, and then it was just like the anticipation was there for Vancouver to like tie up the game, but I mean Edmonton just stopped them completely.
Also, to credit Emily where her credit is due, she did say Garland goal last night, so just to give her flowers on that one. But as someone who has seen Connor Garland play multiple times because he was a former Coyote, I'm not shocked that I don't want to like Shelov's is probably the biggest takeaway from Vancouver for me, but like Garland's going crazy. I mean, like I don't know the stat line, so I'm gonna pull that up right now. But like Connor Garland is not someone you would see like. Obviously, he was a Coyote, so I can't really talk, but like not really something you would expect from him. And like being on a playoff team, it wasn't bad. I thought his performance was pretty good. It's not his stat line's not great, but not the worst thing I've ever seen in the world. It's 5 points in 30 or 3. Oh my god, 5 points in 13 games.
Can you do me a favor and pull up Brock Besser's playoff stats, please?
I can. So that's where I was actually just about to get that. Losing Brock Besser.
I have 2 takeaways from this. Brock Besser is an absolute animal, and Elias Pettersson cannot handle the bright lights of the playoffs.
That's what I'm thinking, is because so in 12 games, Besser had 12 points.
How many goals?
7.
And he had the hat trick against Nashville in Game 4.
Nope, they changed it.
No,
it was not. It wasn't him. It was him. And then they changed the 1 goal to like someone I don't even know who it was.
Oh, that's right. They changed it. Yeah, they changed it to Lindholm, I think.
Something. Yeah, I think so. But the point being here is Besser not in for Game 7. I think killed the Canucks.
I told you that too. I said, okay, well he's out. Okay, now bet the house on Edmonton.
Oh yeah, but I thought like we all knew that Petey kind of was like, obviously Pettersson's. I think Pettersson plays better with Besser, but he's been invisible kind of the whole playoffs, and like Besser's ripping.
Kind of.
Well,
he had like 3 points the whole playoffs. That is invisible. I don't think
that's some Barrett Hayton type numbers.
I don't think he can handle the bright lights of the playoffs.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. So that's where I'm coming with the Connor Garland thing. Sorry, I'm holding my pen so I can write things down. But the thing with the Connor Garland thing is Connor Garland is not like he's short. He's not like he's usually a scrappy guy. He's not like a goal scorer. And it's not that he is a goal scorer. Like I'm not saying that by any means. But if he's playing better than you and you're Elias Pettersson, who's usually known for scoring some sick goals, there's got to be an issue there. At least I think so.
Do we think he was playing hurt or he's just not
Pedersen.
made the playoffs? Yeah.
I want to actually pull up his playoff stat line, like his overall stats, because I think
I can tell you right now, Cameron, it's whatever's from this year because they haven't made the playoffs in 9 years. Besides the bubble
no,
year.
I think his line. I was gonna say his line looks different because they made the playoffs a couple years
The
back.
bubble,
It says
the bubble year. I don't
in
really count the
30
bubble year.
in 30 playoff games played, he has 24 points.
Now take out the 3 points from this year, right?
Six. It's six.
Six. It's six. Take out the 6 points. And 7, 5. Take out 12 games.
So
You're at
that's a
18.
point per game.
Where was that this year? Either he is starting to come out to be not built for the playoffs after this year, or he was playing hurt.
I'm hoping it's the second one. Not
I
that
think
I'm
we
like
all
a fan
hope
of
it's the second
Vancouver,
one.
but I think it's the second one.
I think we all hope it's the second one, but if this happens again next year where he has 6 points like this through 12 games and doesn't show up like how he did this year, then we have a major problem on our hands here.
The only reason I'm gonna say it's the second one is because I thought it was pretty odd, and I'm not trying to say anything. It's not got anything to do with Brock. I thought that news coming out of Game 6 was just pretty random. Like I feel like you would realize that a little bit earlier, and I'm wondering where that kind of came from because they never really obviously you can't specify where a blood clot comes from, so I get that. But I thought it was interesting that he played the series, plays all 6 games, and then suddenly for Game 7, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're not gonna have him because of this issue. But I'm like, what prompted Brock to like get that checked out? You know what I mean?
Also, I want to say this too. It's kind of good that Vancouver didn't win because if you saw the quotes coming out of Vancouver after Game 4 of the Nashville series, they would not be happy going to play against Dallas.
I believe it.
Do you remember what those quotes were?
I don't want to know.
We don't want to be on a long plane ride.
I believe it. I'm gonna segue this into what I consider. I believe it was a bus ride, not a plane ride. I could be mistaken, but because of the distance, Florida and Boston. I'm gonna say it now before you get into your biased opinions about Florida. Jeremy Swayden.
Is an animal.
Animal.
Monster.
Absolutely nuts.
Monster. Absolute monster. But honestly,
Brian, you watched a lot of Boston this playoffs, right?
I did watch a lot of like Boston and Florida, like both games. Um, I honestly I paid a little bit more attention to Florida because the thing about Florida is that they're they're very quick on the ice when it comes to like puck control. They're very quick, very agile. Like they make all these like passes that's like very accurate. And then when it comes to shooting as well, they're very like they'll miss, but at least they have someone who's set up for that rebound to for like the second chance. And that's what I liked about Florida like the entire series was that they kept their calm, like they kept their composure the entire series. And then on top of that, it was I mean, the one true goat of the Panthers is Sergei Bobrovsky. He is the freaking goat of that entire team. Like, I mean, just for him to like make a lot of incredible like goal saves, like against Tampa Bay and against Boston, like was just insane. But and that comes to show you like, and I think it was there was a conversation that we had with like another guy. I think it was Rangers things. Like on paper, when you look at Florida, it's a complete team. There's nothing wrong. they have
The
a great
fact that their weakest issue is a Vesna candidate is wild to me.
exactly. Like there's literally nothing wrong. I mean, like you can look at that team and just be like, this is a team that I could see them going like like two straight like cups and all stuff or three straight cups and all shit. Blah 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 blah.
And
But
nobody would be surprised.
exactly. But
Nobody would be surprised.
yeah. But then
Can
it
I,
was
can
like
I make?
yeah, go for it.
I agree with the point you're making. I want to throw this out there and see if you guys would consider talking about it. If Sam Bennett was out for the rest of the Boston series, do you think it would have gone differently?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think so cuz they would have like they would have managed to like make adjustments like with Bennett like
I believe when Bennett came back in, I could be mistaken, Cousins came out. Also another
I don't.
former Coyote.
So here's my reasoning on why I say no. Pay attention to how
Like
Florida
I
plays.
want to say, can I say I think Florida still would have won, but do you think like Boston would have gotten another couple by them?
No. Because here's the reason why. If you pay attention to how Florida plays, they are very, very they're a fantastic team, but their strong point is making you cough the puck up in the neutral zone
mhm.
and taking advantage of that. So it doesn't matter who they have because they did it in the first round, they did it in the second round. They are very good at making you make a mistake before you reach before whoever has the puck reaches their blue line.
Yeah.
So they'll take advantage of you in all aspects, and then if they do get it past you and get into your defensive zone, guess what? You've got to score on a Vesna candidate who's their weakest link.
Mhm. I mean,
So
their top star for that team is Matthew Kachuk, and I think like when you have a guy like Matthew Kachuk there who can who can pretty much do everything, and and he can also be like an enforcer for the team as well.
I was just about to mention that.
Yeah,
don't forget him
like
popping. Who was it in the face like that? I forgot who it was.
um, Pasternak. It was Pasternak.
Fucking popped his head right off. He made him look like a bobblehead.
Mhm. I think like when you have when you have a guy like that who can do every single role and can be around when you need him to shoot, when you need him to like make get kill off like penalties as well. Like he can literally do everything. I mean, and also that like Barkov as well is also fantastic. I mean, the just the players in general for Florida is insane. It's like it's literally and I hope it's a good segue, Cameron, because I swear to God if it is, like the series with Florida and the Rangers, that is going to be a series that is just going to be neck and neck. I personally think it's going to
It
be
was a perfect segue. I appreciate
I
it.
thought
Let's
we were
go.
waiting on this.
I think it's
So
going to
actually,
be
I'm gonna
I think it's going to be
finish your
battle
thoughts.
of I think it's going to be the battle of Bobrovsky versus Sorokin.
Disturbing.
Sorokin.
Or
When the Islanders are in the conference finals?
God damn it.
Am I flying back to New York?
You with
Am
the
I
New
going
York
to be on a
Rangers
plane
logo
for
behind you.
Shesterkin, mother. You know what?
Okay. Now that you said that, I'm gonna segue a little bit, but I'm gonna backtrack a little into Boston, and then I'm gonna segue it to this series, the conference finals.
I thought we were waiting.
This is not the timeline we had picked out, but it's fine. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's just gonna have to go the way it's gonna have to go. We're segueing.
We're going off script. We're doing it live. That's what it is.
Who needs a script? Anyways, with
Mhm.
Boston, my thing is they don't have a player that could match Matthew Tkachuk. They don't have a player that can match someone like Barkov. Now, like Pasta's good, and like, I think Pasta's great. I think Marchand's like all right. Like, not that they don't have talent. They have great pieces, but they're not working the way Florida's teams work together. Now, I'm gonna segue this into the next series. The Rangers, in my opinion, have a pretty even matchup for Florida. That's just how I think. I think like maybe like I don't want to say this because it's gonna sound wrong, but like Zibanejad's not afraid to not afraid to hit if he needs to, not afraid to play defense if he needs to. I'm not saying he's God, but I'm saying on even playing field with someone like Matthew Tkachuk, you need a guy like that. And I think there's a lot of guys on the Rangers that are willing to try and match Tkachuk. Maybe aren't perfect at it, or probably a closer match than what Boston had.
Vinny Trocheck, he won't be
I'm
afraid.
gonna
He
let
won't be afraid to go against like Kachuk. He won't be afraid.
I'm gonna let you two biased people make your picks now, and I'll sit back and listen.
My God.
Brian, would you like to go first?
Ladies first. I insist.
I knew you were gonna say that shit. Anyways, I'm gonna go Rangers in 6. I'm gonna die on the hill and I'm gonna explain why. I think, unfortunately, I think Joe made a really good point that Bobrovsky's being is technically the Florida's weakest link. And with that being said, Shesterkin is not the Rangers' weakest link. The Rangers' weakest link is that line of Truba and Gustafson, and I don't like it, and I'll complain about it all day long. But I'm saying I think Rangers will sneak some dirty ones by Bobrovsky, and I think that's what's going to change the momentum of the series for them. And it's not that Florida's not going to give them a good series. I think Florida's going to have a lot of good momentum. I think Florida's going to give them a really good series. I think they're going to play physical. I think the Rangers are going to try and match that. I just think that the Rangers might steal this one.
I agree. The other thing that I do think the Rangers would have to do is also try to match up with Florida's quickness as well, and like their speed and like agility. That's what I think they would
Can I
have to
back
like.
that off that?
What?
That's where I think as much as I'd love to see Rempe get in there and see have an actual fight and have like a nice physical series, I think if Heedle's 100% good, we're seeing Heedle the rest of the year.
I can I could definitely see that as well. But the other thing is that I mean they like if I'm Laviolette and like you had mentioned Rempe and all this stuff like I know everybody wants to see Rempe like on the ice and all this stuff, but like if they if Laviolette does put Rempe on the ice, like he probably won't get a lot of play time like throughout the
That's
entire
exactly
series.
why I think Heedle will be in.
And for
He'll get 3 minutes. He'll get 3 minutes a game.
yeah,
No, he averages a little more than that now. It's between 4 and 6 minutes now.
yeah. But but even then, I mean like
That's not enough.
but even then it's like what the Rangers would have to do is continue doing what they're doing with penalty killing. Number 1, they have to, like I said, they have to match Florida's quickness, their agility. They have to like match up with basically everything with Florida. If I'm Laviolette, like I'm literally looking at tapes and all stuff of like game footage of how Florida plays to see how the Rangers can counter everything there. And if I'm like Igor Shesterkin, you see Joe? You see Joe? Motherfucker. You confused the fuck out of me. For all the audio listeners, you just gave me the fucking bird. Asshole. But I love you.
Okay,
I didn't
Ilya
even
Sorokin.
see it.
God damn it. But if I mean I did bring it up earlier, but it's definitely gonna be a matchup of Bobrovsky versus like Igor. It's definitely gonna be a goaltending matchup for sure. I mean, everybody else is gonna definitely play their roles for sure, but when it comes to like crucial saves, I mean, it's just gonna be like who can save like more goals than the other. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little bit, but I'm gonna say this like I think it'll be Rangers in 7. It'll be a hell of a series. It'll be a hell of a series, but I'm gonna say Rangers in 7.
Do
And
one of
before
you guys?
Joe, before you speak, Joe, before you
Do you,
speak.
wait,
and
hold
make
on.
a point.
Do you after you make your point, do you want to go into Emily's pick even though she's not here?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I wanted just to backtrack on the whole Heedle Brodzinski kind of thing.
Yes.
Backtrack's not the right word, so I need to stop saying that. But you get the idea.
Or,
But,
you could say
I
rewind.
wanted, yeah, a little bit. I just want to bring it up. The thing is, as much as we'd like everyone's saying we want Rempe, like we want to see him play, we want to see him fight Kachuk. Like, I agree with the physical aspect. He's 6'8". There's no way he's going to keep up with that Florida team, which is why I could see why they wouldn't play him, which unfortunately leaves room for a guy like Brodzinski, who's a little bit quicker on his feet, a guy like Heedle, who's quicker on his feet. And I think Heedle's probably the best option. Heedle makes better plays, just how it is. But, like, I think I'd honestly rather see them make those quick plays and keep up, like you were saying, with the Florida team and risk and have Rempe play 6 minutes a night and have him be I don't want to say slow, just his height.
Yeah. I mean, and also like Roslovic as well, like just needs to continue, just like needs to keep his composure as well. Like he needs to just
Yeah.
like not make stupid turnovers. And if I was to give like an X factor player and all stuff for that series, I would also I would consistently say like Vinny Trocheck. Like, I mean, he's literally averaging like an assist a game. He's averaging either a goal a game. He's literally like he's all over the ice as well, and he won't be able, like he's not afraid as well to like get into somebody's face and wanting to like beat the piss out of him. He's not afraid of that. So, I mean, Mika, like he needs to work some Mika magic in order to get some like second chance goals, and especially like on power plays as well. Like if he has like an open shot for a power play for like a goal, then don't be afraid to take advantage of it. And I'm gonna make one more point. Panarin, for the love of God, can you just start shooting the fucking puck at the net? Because you're literally fucking like passing it around like if it's fucking like hot potato, and you're not even shooting shit. Like just
My favorite is as much as I don't want to shit on him, the Goodrow dump all the way down the ice and like hope someone's there.
Bro, Goodrow,
Well, I won't get you started on it, but
that'll be a separate podcast in itself. That'll be a fucking
Joe.
rant in itself.
Joe.
I have one point to make before you get into M's picks. Don't forget though, even though you're only playing Rempe 6 minutes if he plays, if he throws a hit, he's taking a penalty regardless because of his height.
I was gonna say, if he throws a hit,
So,
that's the
exactly.
reputation call.
Mm-hmm.
So
I call him.
now you can go into. I just wanted to bring that up. You're going into M's picks.
I don't honestly. I can't remember it. I'm too lazy to look for it. I have her pick for this series picked up. I don't remember the number of games.
Rangers and 6.
I believe it was Rangers in 6. I know we talked to Em a little bit today, so I just want to touch on the things she brought up. We did talk a lot about power play and special teams, so I think that will be a big thing for her. And I don't want to speak for her, but as she cannot be here right now, I'm going to lay into it a little bit. But with the Rangers in 6, I think that's going to be a big thing, is being able to not stop taking penalties. I don't want to say that, but like be able to keep our power play up, keep the power play up, keep up with Florida's power play, and hopefully backtracking a little again, but Goodrow just doesn't dump as far down as he wants. Like, let's dump in. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. And Goodrow, please stop being a little pussy. Stop turning over the puck. He turns over the puck way too much, and that's why he's like giving up goals.
Eric Gustafson worse.
All right, you know what?
I got you there. He knows I'm right. I know I got him. Let's can I say something? Can I say something? This might be a really hot take, and I don't think it's gonna be a thing. And then we can segue into Joe's pick for this series. Zach Jones not in the game for Ryan Lindgren, placeholder in the practices for Ryan Lindgren. Do we see Gustafsson come out for Zach Jones? Do we think? I might have made Brian cry.
Oh my god. Why do you have to do this to me? Why do you have to do this to me? Why?
Listen, I'm just asking for an opinion. You can say whatever you want.
He better get his shit together. He better.
Gustafsson or Jones? The one that starts with the G, I'm assuming. You can't even say it.
I can't even say it without exploding. So, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I'll let for our other biased listener here.
Mm-hmm. The non-biased one. The non-biased one.
First of all, I'm not biased here.
No, I know I'm teasing him.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, Florida's winning the series in 7. And okay, yo, Brian.
He's out. Man's left the building. He's on his way out.
I need to hear this shit. I need to hear this.
So,
okay.
I gave the Rangers a lot of leeway in that first series with Washington. They didn't play their best hockey. Granted, you're playing the fucking Washington Capitals, who
you don't need to play your best hockey against the Washington Capitals.
You don't even need to play 50% of your best hockey to beat the Washington Capitals in 4 games. I give them a lot of leeway. Going into that Carolina series, after how Carolina did not beat the Islanders, I will stand on that hill. The Islanders beat themselves. Carolina did not beat the Islanders. I was looking for a more dominant series from the Rangers. They played very soft. They did not play like they did during the regular season whatsoever. You're going against Freddie Anderson, and you're barely squeaking out games against Freddie Anderson. And now you're going up against a Vezina candidate as the weakest link on the team. So, in my opinion, I think Florida has a chance to win this in 7. It's going to be a back-and-forth series. It's going to be a fantastic series, probably the best series in the playoffs so far. Might even be better than the Stanley Cup Finals. Because, in my opinion, the winner of the Cup comes out of the East. So, whoever wins this series is winning the Cup. But I wholeheartedly believe if the Rangers don't step their game up to how they did during the regular season and how they end their full potential, then Florida will steal this series in 7 games.
I would like to add to this. I'm going to ask Joe first. Nothing personal, Brian. I meant to ask it earlier and I forgot. Do we have, I don't want to get too far into cup predictions because I think I want to save that for another episode. But I do want to talk about this because we brought it up a little bit earlier, and I think it might be a little early, but we'll bring it up anyways. On Smythe predictions, if you guys want to talk about that, unless you want to save them, I'm more than happy to save them.
We'll save that for the end of this round.
Okay, I'm okay with that. I just wanted to bring it up and see if you wanted to talk about it.
Only because we can make all the predictions we want, but we don't know how this series is going to play out because there's still 4 teams left. So,
right, and that's a great segue because I was about to bring up the other 2.
But I wholeheartedly, you bias people above me. I don't care how you feel about this. I wholeheartedly believe Florida wins in 7 unless the Rangers play to their full potential. Because, in my opinion, if that was their full potential against Carolina, then that's a major issue. That's a major issue if that's their full potential.
I'm going to segue this one. We're going to bring it to Dallas and Edmonton, and I'm going to start because I'd like to. I'm going to go. I think I said Dallas in 5. I was going to say Dallas in 6. Both I wanted to say Dallas in 6, and then when I found it was Edmonton, I changed it to Dallas in 5. Here's why. Edmonton doesn't have enough skill in goal to keep up with that Dallas. And like I don't have an issue with Skinner. I'm actually pretty sure he was my fantasy hockey goalie this season. My problem with him is he just there's some things he lets in that just don't go, and I think Dallas is gonna find their way around him. And the other problem on the other side of the ice is they have again Jake Ottinger, and he's playing pretty damn good hockey, if not the best hockey we've seen from Jake Ottinger yet. My thing is, I think with that, like I think Edmonton's gonna have to not play their pieces right. That's not the right way to explain it. I think there's gonna have to be more from like more goal scoring specifically from McDavid. But he'll still produce. I think that's gonna happen. I think Draisaitl is gonna be fine, but I think that needs to be seen more, and they need to have a little bit more depth in that lineup. But I do think Dallas is gonna steal it, and I think honestly Jake Ottinger is just gonna come out on top for Dallas.
All right.
Brian, you're up with your pick.
Now, originally I had when we saw the series with Edmonton and Vancouver, I was thinking to myself, I wanted to see 94 rematch, Vancouver versus Rangers. And then when I saw the matchup, then when Edmonton won, we have Edmonton and Dallas. My I'm taking the underdogs. I'm saying Edmonton in 6. Now, like you did make a lot of great points, Cameron, but I think this series is definitely this series in general is just going to be a really good series, and it's going to definitely test like both teams for sure. Um I think I think Edmonton at this point they they know where they messed up on a lot like with the series against Vancouver and the series against who else did they play against the Kings. Like against the Kings, like they played very well against the Kings, and then it was like once they played against Vancouver, then it was just what like what is happening. I I still think with 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 Connor McDavid there, I think he's gonna be the the main focal point of that team, and he is going to be like the shot caller for everything. He's gonna literally be around like there's no tomorrow. I think the pieces are there for Edmonton. Now, can Edmonton do it? They can, but it's just a matter of will they have like the right the right mindset to have it last like go into 6 games, go into 7 games. Like they just need to have this winning mentality of like we're the underdogs. Let's play like underdogs and surprise people on how we can like upset these guys. So it's a toss up, but I I'm sticking with it. Either Edmonton in 6 or Edmonton in 7. It'll be a hell of a series, but I think you can also expect to see like a very different side of Connor McDavid, like scoring a lot more instead of being a little bitch boy. That's what I'm gonna say. Um, Joey, hi. It is your turn.
So I'm gonna backtrack a second. My X factor for that Florida series is Vladimir Tarasenko. If he could have a big series, that's going to be another deciding factor. Now,
I wanted to bring him up as well, and I forgot.
Damn.
now on to this series, I have Dallas in 6. Um, I'm. I mean, Cameron explained it best before. I think Skinner's a great goalie, but compared to that roster that Dallas has, it's going to be very, very hard to
Compared to that
stop.
brick wall,
What?
compared to that brick wall, I say compared to that brick wall.
I mean, listen, regardless if it was a brick wall or a fucking Swiss cheese, it's still going to be hard to stop. It's hard to stop that offense that Dallas has. But somebody who I think everybody should be looking out for in this round is Jason Robertson. He has 12 points in 13 games right now. I just looked it up. 3 goals. If he can put up 3 goals this series, I think he's due for more than 3 goals this series. But if he can play to how he did last year, I would watch out for him big time, and that will be a huge X factor for this series right here. Cameron, do you want to go into Emily's picks on this series?
I think she also said Dallas in 6. I could be mistaken. I'm trying to remember. I know we talked about it briefly, but I'm not confident, and I don't feel like it's not that I don't feel like texting her. I just don't want to bother her. She's a busy woman, so I'm gonna leave that. If I'm wrong, she's more than welcome to come in and correct me, and I will fix them next episode. But I
She can
believe she
come
did
yell at
say
all three
Dallas
of
in
us.
6. She can yell at me all she wants. I'm probably deserve it. But I think she said Dallas in 6. I would assume that she comes up with the same reasons I do. I think you're kind of all saying the same thing. Wyatt Johnston's going to be a big name for the Stars. Wow, my brain just stopped working. Uh, Robertson's going to be big. I'd like to see Sagan get something going. Probably won't happen, but
Uh,
a girl can dream.
I'm curious what his stats look like right now.
I don't think they're great. I could be wrong. But I don't know.
Let's see.
But I think
He is
honestly,
at
like I would like to see. I would like to
yeah.
see that.
He's at 8 points through 13 games, 3 goals, 5 assists.
Yeah, that's not that bad though. I thought it was gonna be
It's
much
not.
worse.
It's not the worst, but he could produce at a higher clip. I
Oh
think
yeah,
we all know he could easily produce at a higher clip.
definitely.
But I think Jason Robinson's going to be the major X factor in that series.
I think I agree, but I would like to keep my eye on Wyatt Johnston.
Oh, 100%. But
Johnson?
he's
Wyatt Johnston? There's a T in there. It's Wyatt Johnston, right? Ston.
I think so.
I don't know shit anymore.
It's late. It's 10 o'clock for me. It's 11 o'clock for them.
It's not late for me at all. 10 o'clock's my witching hour.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like
It gets downhill once it's past 1 o'clock.
But I feel like he's been producing the whole playoffs though. So I mean,
Yeah, he's been consistent.
there's really I mean like yeah we can keep our eyes on him, but I think the player who can really make a major difference is going to be Robertson. Hasn't produced how he should be. He's producing at almost a point per game, but I feel like he's somebody who, if he wants to, can flip a switch in his head and really flip that series in Dallas's favor, big time.
That's why I keep saying it's like nice to see them both comfortable. Like I don't want to say Wyatt Johnston was uncomfortable because I don't keep enough tabs on Dallas to like say he didn't look as good this season, whatever, blah blah blah. It's nice to see him like fit into his position and like be able to score the way I believe he was expected to be. So that's what I've heard from what I know. But seemingly it's good to see them get into their positions and keep comfortable.
I do want to make one more point for Edmonton as well. Like I want to see like Evan Bouchard like be a little bit more aggressive out on the ice as well. Like Nugent Hopkins is as well.
Brian, in what way aggressive?
So aggressive meaning like take a little bit more shots, like take a little bit more shots on goal. See if you could try to produce like some goals as well. Because he's sitting
he's at 20 points.
I mean, right now he's sitting at 5 goals, like 15 assists, like the entire playoffs so far. Like
That entire team is producing. You got 4 out of the top 5 playoff point performers right now. Are the top 4 are all Oilers?
Yeah.
Who's the fifth? Do you mind me asking?
I think it was Kel McCarr.
Yeah, that checks out.
Let me double check. I'm like 99% sure.
Kale McCarr's just that dude.
Yeah, and also that, like Evander Kane as well, like he just needs to stop getting into like penalty trouble, man. He just needs to like just keep his composure, like just fuck. Just stop getting yourself into like fucking penalty issues, you sack of shit. Yes, Joe.
So it is Kale McCarr at 15 points through 11 games, even though they're out with 5 goals, 10 assists.
That makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah.
And then you have Zibanejad and Trocheck after him for.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be shocked if that's where the Rangers come in. Not bottom 5. But,
Well, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a 5-way tie for 6th place in points between those two, McKinnon, Rantanen, and Kachuk at 14.
Yeah, that seems right.
Lordy.
You guys
Now,
want to touch on this?
What about the news that came out yesterday? What about the news that came out yesterday about Sheldon Keefe possibly being the Devils' coach?
Do you want me to go first?
You can go first. I have nothing to say about it except for haha, fuck you, Devils.
Well, you stole the words right out of my mouth, so that's great. I'm gonna try and be a little bit logical about it. As someone who lives in Jersey and sees Devils fans go through this shit every year, which preying on their downfall one day at a time. But
Teehee.
I think the thing is with Sheldon Keefe, he couldn't bring Toronto to win. And now, I'm just gonna say this. Toronto arguably has a better core than the Devils.
Arguably, it's a much better core than the Devils.
I don't know. People like to think Jack Hughes is just God, which I'm not disagreeing.
It
Kid's talent.
It doesn't matter how good Jack Hughes is, but if you look at Nylander, Marner, Matthews, and Tavares, like any of those 4 might be better than Jack Hughes.
Well, they're blowing up that core anyways, so we're too concerned about that.
We'll save that for another episode.
Okay.
But I mean, any of those 4, I mean, even you can take any of those 4 and they're probably arguably better than Jack Hughes. So
the only one I think maybe is not, which he's talented and I'm not disagreeing, might be Tavares, just because I think Hughes has a little bit more.
He's also on the older end. I was
gonna say he's also on the older end, but I think he has better teammates. Does that make sense?
Yes, but at the same time too, this shouldn't be an arguable take here because it should just be a known fact that the Leafs core is a better core than the Devils.
I thought it was a known fact, and I don't want the Devils fans to cook my ass. So, anyways,
Devils fans can say what they want.
Devils fans say whatever they want.
Wah, womp womp.
By the way, Sheldon Keefe's name should actually be Sheldon Queef.
Don't bring it up because I don't want to bring up what I'm thinking when you say that. Anyways,
it's an inside.
Are you taking
a
shit right now?
Best tweet of all time, dude. Literally, probably the best one. The problem is with Sheldon Keefe is I don't think he's a bad coach. I think the guy's great. I think he's gonna bring something. Like I think will he probably crack the playoffs with the Devils? Yes. Do I think the Devils are going to do that next year if he becomes head coach? No. And I only say that because this is supposed to be serious, but you guys
Sorry, it had to be done.
I had to do it in there as well.
Anyways, with the core the Devils have, I love Keisher. I think he's great. I think Hughes is talented. I think the problem lies, and everyone's going to hate me, with their defense and goaltending. Hot take.
We're going to save this conversation for another episode, but I very much see the Devils trading for UC Soros in the near future within the next right within the first couple of weeks of free agency.
Different goalie. Agree on goaltending. Different goalie.
I say UC Soros for a few reasons that we can get into at a later time, but
yeah, we'll talk trades in another episode.
all signs are pointing to UC Soros being gone, and I see him being a great fit for the Devils because I see another move coming for Nashville.
That makes sense. I'm gonna say I have a different goaltender in mind, but I definitely see your point. Anyways, the thing is with their core is and I hate to admit it, but the only really core defenseman they have, besides I believe John Marino's a defenseman, is Luke Hughes. Now, before someone cooks my ass, Dougie Hamilton has been hurt since the beginning of the season. If I'm not, he was been out for a long time. That is half the reason why the Devils have not been winning. Also, they're playing also very tall man, 6'6", I believe he is, Kevin Ball. Now, whoever wants to cook me for this, because I don't care, Kevin Ball should not be on an NHL team. He's not that great.
Neither should the Walmart Sebastian Aho on the Islanders, but that's besides the point.
Well, that's true too. Everyone's gonna be like, well, you're a Coyotes fan, and you don't get a set. Kevin Ball, you know where he came from? Do you know where Kevin Ball came from?
It's gonna take a while, I guess, to say the Coyotes.
There you go. The Devils wouldn't have had him if the Coyotes. I can't even get a word out.
Well, no,
the Devils would not have Kevin Ball. The Devils will not have Kevin Ball if it weren't for the Coyotes trading for Taylor Hall. Yes, that rhymed, and no, I don't care. They would not have that if the Coyotes didn't give all that shit up for fucking Taylor Hall, which really cost them, clearly, because one season with them, and that's the end. But, he's not all that. The reason they got rid of him is because Kevin Ball had no place on that team. And now, look at all the people, not trying to get into the Coyotes shift, because that's going to be a whole different podcast episode.
We'll spend a full episode on the Coyotes for you.
Thank you. But the Coyotes had defensemen that were coming up, and then they promptly traded most of them for actually, decent prospects. The only one that they still have that I personally don't like, and I know most Coyotes fans are on the fence about now, is Victor Soderstrom. Because every time he plays in the NHL, we just don't see anything from him. But, the Coyotes have all this depth in defense, and I believe they have center depth, too, where it's they didn't need Kevin Ball. So they traded him, which is fine, but then it comes down to something I don't know. I just don't think the Devils should be playing him. I think that's one of the biggest things. I think the Devils get healthy and can stay healthy because that happened a lot this season, too. They had Hischier in and out with concussion problems. I think Jack Hughes got shoulder surgery at the end of the season, kept him out for the last couple of games of the season. They just can't stay healthy.
Personally,
I think on a healthy Devils team, it's not scary, but puts up a better fight.
I don't see them as a playoff team, but we can get into that at a later date.
Yeah, I was gonna say right now, no, but they have to trade a little bit to make that a thing.
Brian, are we still recording?
Yep.
We're good?
Yeah.
All right. What's your take on the Sheldon Keefe hiring? Possible and soon to be hired.
If it happens.
Possible and soon to be hired.
I have no take in it. I didn't even know about it until now, so I have no take in it whatsoever.
Well, it's not confirmed or anything, so.
I mean,
just a rumor.
Apparently, it's his job if he wants it, and he wants it, but they haven't worked out the numbers yet. That's what's been circulating. That's what's circulating right now.
It's an upgrade from Lindy. That's what matters. But do you have any thoughts on that, Joe? Because I think Brian's pretty unbiased about it.
On Sheldon Keefe or Lindy Ruff?
Sheldon Keefe.
All I'm going to say is Devils fans be prepared. Be prepared because if you can't win in Toronto with a team like that, and you're hiring that exact same coach, do not expect to go on a deep playoff run anytime soon.
I agree.
If he can't be successful with a team of arguably 4 of the top 20 players in the league, top 20 skaters in the league, I'll say that. How far off am I on saying
I think that's pretty accurate.
So if you have 4 of the top 20 skaters in the league, and you can't go on a deep playoff run, I don't give a shit about your goaltending issues, because Samsonov was solid up until this year, right or wrong. So
You're right.
I mean, don't expect to go on a deep run anytime soon. You'll be lucky to make it to the second round, I think, if he is hired. Be prepared for some dark times in Jersey again.
By the way, if you really,
Actually,
by the way, if you really want to know my take on it,
I wanted to bring this up because I forgot about it until I looked down at my piece of paper. Do we want to talk betting odds on the Eastern and Western Conference Finals? Well, not we. That's all you guys. Or we would like to talk. Do we want to talk Nashville first, and then get to the betting odds, or do we want to do betting odds first?
Let's talk Nashville first. Let's talk that wonderful
Okay.
trade
I'm
today.
okay with that.
Let's talk that wonderful trade today. That was a trade that needed to have happened. That was fantastic. You give up Ryan McDonough, and I think it was a 5th-round pick, to get a 2nd-round pick back, and I think it was a 7th-round pick. On top of
They
that,
didn't get anything in return that wasn't fixed.
it doesn't matter. They didn't retain any of his salary at 6.75
No, I know.
million. That was 0% retained. You just got a 2nd-round pick back.
I think I won't get too far into it because I think we're going to talk about this in another episode. I think they have a strategy, and I think they're clearing some space that they might need
For
to
a
clear
person.
for a good player. My thing is, I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, I thought McDonough was solid for Nashville.
He was okay. He got to a point where he was a salt packet from McDonald's. At one point, that's how useless he was.
Maybe it was just from what I had seen in the playoffs. Then possibly,
Yeah.
maybe he played better in the playoffs. I don't know.
So out of the 2 years I lived down here in Nashville, I have been to, I want to say, roughly 25, 30 games. Out of those 25, 30 games, I think I've seen him be productive maybe 6 or 7 times in
That's all
person.
right.
So, you know what? He's a fine player. He's a good player, but when you have a price tag of almost $7 million, you need more production out of him. You cannot be a fucking traffic cone on the ice. It's that simple. And
I'm surprised they didn't try to get you guys to rope in. I'm surprised Tampa didn't try and rope in Matt Dumba in there. Try to get him to go to Nashville. I would see that happening.
Listen, they got a 2nd-round pick out of it.
No, I know, but I'm saying like
And
I
you
would
know what?
expect Tampa to try and rope that kind of thing in.
Well, no, I think that they have another trade in the works to bring Stamkos back there. But on the lines of Nashville, something I don't know if you guys know about, even with $12 million in dead salary and dead cap space, they still have $26 million in cap space coming into this offseason. After that trade, they still have $26 million in cap space now.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Like McDonough was was traded from the Rangers to Tampa Bay, correct?
Rangers to Tampa, Tampa to Nashville, Nashville back to Tampa.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think
he was part of the 3-player. Sorry, not to cut you off, Joe. McDonough was part of the JT Miller Kevin Shattenkirk trade, if I'm not mistaken. And then Miller went from Tampa. I want to say Miller went from Tampa to Vancouver immediately. I could be wrong. I feel like there's another team bounced back in there. And then from there, Shattenkirk has been all over because Shattenkirk was in Tampa for a long time. And I believe from Tampa, he went, I think he was a free agent and signed with Boston.
Okay.
So McDonough went from the Rangers to Tampa, then to Nashville, and now he's back in Tampa. That makes sense.
I gotta look this up because you just reminded me of something. So
you're talking about the way that my life changed forever when they traded JT Miller.
No, okay. So right now Nashville has $26 million in available cap. They have $38 million with 12 dead cap right now. So they're at $26 million. If they trade Saros, they're at $31 million in cap space. That was a big move to make by trading McDonough. That was
I
a
don't know if they trade
gigantic move.
Saros though, because if you trade Saros, that throws you into a huge rebuild, does it not?
No, it doesn't, because you have Askarov, who's the #1 goaltending prospect in the league coming up. They're saying he's going to be the next Henrik Lundqvist. Well, Henrik Lundqvist. Sorry, I can't speak.
We knew what you were
They're,
talking about. We
they're
know
saying
that name.
they're saying that he's going to be one of the top goalies in the leagues. He's very highly praised, and they're saying that he's ready to come up. So I could see them moving Saros to free up more cap space within the next coming weeks. And we could save this for a later podcast too, but I see them making not only a big splash on a trade, but I can see them making a big splash in the free agent market too, because they were a playoff team.
Today, I learned that you can just trade players whenever the fuck you want once you're eliminated from the playoffs.
Well, I mean, the Rangers and Panthers can make a trade right now, but whatever players are involved can't play.
Really, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So say you guys want to.
I'm saying, like, you know where I'm coming from with that, right? Like, you know what I mean? I feel like the trade deadline throws me off because then I'm like, oh, they can't make trades until the whole season's over, and now I've learned that that is not true.
Well, no. So say you guys wanted to trade Panarin for Kachuk, right? And the trade hypothetically.
No one would. I don't know if anyone would do that, but sure.
No, I'm just saying hypothetically, you trade Panarin for Kachuk. It goes through whatever Gary signs off on it. Cool. Neither one of those players can play for their new respective teams in the playoffs at all, so they are sitting on the bench. They're sitting in the press box, actually.
You saying that right now, Joe, just made me.
Good. Panthers in 7. Panthers in 7. Panthers in 7.
Only players that I would. If I wanted to see somebody leave so bad,
Goodrow?
Goodrow, Trouba, Gustafsson,
Wow, you know what?
and Wenberg. There you go.
We'll save this for the off season.
Wait. Let me add one more. Johnny Brodzinski.
We'll save this for the off season. I want your guys' opinion. I want your guys' opinion on this. How do you, from an outsider's point of view, how do you feel about that trade today for Nashville, getting rid of McDonough and a fifth for a second-round pick?
I think it's good if they're gonna do what we think they're gonna do. You know what I mean?
Even if they don't, you now have magically $26 million in cap space.
Yeah,
but I think it's good for them. I think they'll probably
have a lot of wiggle room.
Right. I'm gonna say I think. Honestly, and I won't get too far into it because I do want to talk about this more in depth probably in the off season because we'll go into it. I think honestly, if they get what I'm expecting them to get, and then maybe make some tweaks to their defense just a little bit. Not that they have any problems there, but I'd like to see like maybe one or two better defensemen come in. I can't see why they wouldn't be a decent cup contender.
I wouldn't say a cup contender yet. I would give them
they would make a deep playoff run. I'm not.
I'd say.
Are you gonna call them first round exits?
No, but I would call them second round exits.
Yeah, but I think they would make it a series. You know what I mean? Like they would definitely play up to their potential.
But that depends on what happens with Askarov. If they trade Saros, it depends on Askarov and Lankin.
Right.
I think what is it? Like McDonough actually fits well within like Tampa Bay's like scheme, as far as you know, being everywhere on the ice and needing to be like where he needs to be. I think him being in Nashville was a step down. It was definitely a step down for him because I think what Nashville brought as far as the team aspect goes didn't really fit his specific play style, and he knew that he felt a little bit more comfortable being with Tampa Bay. So I think for him to go back to Tampa Bay would be really good, cuz Tampa Bay at this point, I think they need to like restructure a lot of different things as well in the off season if they want to be, like cup, like Cup contender team in the future. So
I have a question for you guys. Would you consider Nashville as a very shot-heavy defenseman team, where you need your defenseman to shoot the puck more? Because you're not going to see Roman Josi really getting dirty and gritty along the boards. You're not going to really
Roman
see him
Josi
laying
would
out.
put hella shots on goal.
Yeah, but I feel like if you have another defenseman paired up with Josi, or even on your second pairing where you're going to put up maybe 6 or 7 shots a game on goal, I think that's where you'll really find a good rhythm with your defenseman, because you're not going to rely on Forsberg to score another 50 goals this year coming up. It's just not happening.
yeah,
I love Forsberg. I think he's a great player. I think he's a fantastic player. But you can't rely on him dropping 50 goals. You just dropped Duchesne at the start of the season, which was another good move, by the way. But you dropped
I
Duchesne.
think that's a really smart move, and I think
Yeah.
Dallas has him now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Dallas picking him up is really good.
He scored the game winner in double
winner.
overtime to send him to the final.
Yeah, but I think he's a great ad for Dallas.
100%. But the problem is now you're going to rely on Forsberg to score another 50 goals to really get to the playoffs.
yeah.
You have Ryan O'Reilly. What?
You also just got Jason Zucker.
Yeah, we
I
have
don't know how
Ryan
you feel
O'Reilly.
about that. I think he's playing much better for Nashville than he was for the Coyotes, which he knew. Like I will say, we all knew it coming up from the deadline. We all knew he was gone at the deadline. No one thought the Coyotes were going to keep him. So it's like one of those things where I'm like, do we like Jason Zucker? Do you think he sticks around in Nashville?
Here's the problem. I wasn't really able to watch too many games because I don't know if you guys know what's going on down here. Bally Sports is now bankrupt. So they pick
it happened to the Coyotes too.
They pick and choose what they want to air, and even if you pay for it, you're not going to get the games half the time. So it's really hard to be able to watch a Preds game. But I mean, from what I saw,
honestly, get ESPN Plus.
I have ESPN Plus. I can't watch them because I'm blacked out in the market.
Oh, you're blacked out. Never mind.
Yeah.
So I have to have ESPN Plus for the Islanders.
I mean, I have what is it? Like that sports package and all stuff like with my cable, where I can be able to see like all the hockey games and all
That's
stuff.
That's literally what ESPN Plus is.
Yeah.
But you're paying more for ESPN Plus.
No. Yeah.
Mine's bundled in with Hulu and Disney Plus.
Yeah, no, I don't have the bundle. But I mean, from what I saw, I think Zucker was a good addition. I mean, you also have Ryan O'Reilly. You have Luke Shen. You just can't rely on Forsberg to score another 50 goals. You can't.
Do you think that Yossi maybe like is not, I don't want to say on his way out, but like
Of Nashville or the league?
They see Nashville.
No. Roman Josi loves it here.
I was gonna say I think he'll retire Fred.
Hot take. He will be the second. I don't know how to word this the right way without pissing off Preds fans. But he will be the non-goalie version of Pecorino for the Predators.
No, that's not gonna put anyone off. That's absolutely true.
I mean, but you can't really compare anybody to Pecorino.
You can't compare the position, but
no, you can't compare anybody to Pecorino to Predators fans. That's
I don't know. I think honestly, the only thing with Zucker is as much as he did have a really good season this year, for the Predators, he did. I think the thing is he's on the older side. I think you don't get many more years out of him. Well, I think you're going to see 1 or 2, and I think that's it.
Problem is here, there's a lot I want to say on this topic right now, but we're going to save this for another episode. Nashville is on the older end of the league. They are at the top end. I think they were like in the top 10 of oldest teams in the league this year on average. So
is Vegas the oldest?
I don't remember who it was, in all honesty, but Barry Trotz has some big pieces he needs to address on that end right there alone. So
What, the biggest thing?
No. They're on Nashville's, I think, in the top 10 of oldest teams in the league, except for maybe 2 or 3 players.
I think another player like we can also address like on like another episode is Ovechkin as well. Like I think he's
I think he's staying till he breaks Gretzky's record. I don't care. I don't think he cares how long it takes.
Okay, I
I
found the
mean
top 5 of oldest teams.
Okay,
Pittsburgh's the oldest.
I could see that.
Nashville's in the top 5.
Okay, so I
Or
wasn't
fifth.
too far off. Yeah, I wasn't too
It's
far off.
Pittsburgh, Edmonton, Dallas, Carolina, Nashville, and then it goes New York, Seattle, Washington.
The
But
Islanders
Vegas
or
is up there. Vegas is top
Island,
10.
Islanders or Rangers.
Islanders.
Yeah, I mean when you have cases, Cizikas, Matt Martin, Cal Clutterbuck.
yeah.
I mean,
Um
you're old
I
right
can't believe
there.
Brock Nelson's not pushing 30.
He's 33.
He is 30.
He's 33, I think.
You lied to me. I said Brock Nelson was old the other night, and someone told me I was wrong.
It wasn't me. I said he was he's pushing his mid-30s.
I said something about Brock Nelson, and someone was like, wrong. It's Cal Clutterbuck, and I went, no. Brock
no,
Nelson's old.
that was me. But you said, but I said Cal Clutterbuck was older. You said you think
Well,
you
yeah,
thought
but
that
I'm still saying
you
like
thought,
Brock
yeah,
Nelson.
no, no, but he's still a 30-goal scorer. But no, I think you said like
He's still
isn't he
talented.
like
It's not that he's not talented. It's just he's
no,
old.
yeah.
yeah.
I think you said like isn't he like the oldest or the second oldest on the team?
I said, isn't he one of the older guys? I think.
I mean, when you have 4 players that are still older than him with Paul Mary too, I mean, you really can't say that he's one of the older guys. You have 4 people
I always
above
forget
him.
Paul Mary's on that team.
You
Isn't
have
he?
4 people. He was another 30-goal scorer this year. No,
Really?
What about Matt Martin?
Matt Martin's gone. You know what? You know what? I can get into this for days. I'll tell you this right now. If Lou Lamoriello does not blow this fucking team up in the offseason, we're going to have major problems. The only people that should be staying on this
The only
team.
piece you should keep is Sorokin and Barzell and Dobson. Everyone else can go.
No, see, that's where you're wrong. You keep Horvat, you keep Dobson, you keep Romanov, you keep Barzell, and you keep Sorokin. That's it.
I always
Everybody
forget
else-
Horvat's on that team.
You also forgot Romanov, who was one of the better defensemen for the Islanders too this year. But
I don't think I watched the Islanders.
what?
Did you act like I watched the Islanders?
Yeah,
I don't know
but,
their roster like the back of my hand. And we know Barzell. He's the only one that lives there.
I know some information about that I'm not bringing up on the podcast.
What, that Barzell? No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant like Barzell's the only one that I know of because he's the most popular one besides Horvat and Sorokin.
Well, yeah, no, you said something else. I was going to bring something up, but no, that's not something to get out in the public. But, I mean, if Lou Lamoriello does not blow this team up in the offseason and keep those people, we're going to have major problems here because this team should not be competing for a playoff spot next year.
What do you think? What do you think?
They won't be competing for a playoff spot next year, probably.
Like even
They will. That's a problem. Because if they go out, if Lou goes out and fucking trades for Mitch Marner like everybody says they want him to, which he probably might to be a fucking dickhead despite everybody, and blow up the future of this team, it's going to happen, and then we're fucked, and we're stuck in the middle of everything for the next 10 years. That's the problem.
I say what I'm thinking. What happens if the trade, I mean, it would never happen, but I would love to see Islanders fans die. Barzell for Marner would be insane.
I think that UBS Arena would be on fire.
I think so too. That's why I bring it up.
If you want to talk about a realistic trade for Mitch Marner to the Island, it starts with Brock Nelson. It starts with Brock Nelson, Oliver Wahlstrom, a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and possibly Varlamov.
I think Varlamov's gone. I think he's out.
He's got a no-trade clause.
I meant retirement-wise.
No, he just signed a contract. He signed a 3-year deal.
That's dumb. He's old.
No, he signed either a 3 or 4-year deal because he wants to play with Sorokin.
I still think it's dumb.
Everybody wants to play with Sorokin at this point.
I don't. You think I want to suit up and go play for those losers? I don't, because then I feel bad if because you know what? If I suit up and I play for those losers, Brian, and God forbid I fuck up on the ice, I will feel so bad for him because the amount of shit that he went through this year with that team, where they left him out to dry countless times every single game, so many stupid penalties, so many breakaways for no reason. They have left him out to dry so many times, and nobody took fucking accountability for it. Not a single
Well, of
person
course
except for Bo Horvat.
I
That's my stance on that.
no.
I think the Islanders have some work to do.
The Islanders need to blow the team up.
Now,
Give me
what do
fucking third round picks and I'll be happy.
you
Get all
think?
that salary off the books.
Like, what do you think the odds are? Like, what do you think the odds would be like if the Islanders were to make the playoffs like next year?
I'd kill myself. I gotta go watch the playoffs again and go watch them get dog walked by Carolina for a third year in a row in the first round. I'd rather not. I'd rather not. I'd rather not watch the Islanders play Carolina for the third year in a row and have to deal with all these fucking 9/11 memes again. I would rather not.
So, we were gonna get into the odds and all stuff. Which really quick, let's take a look at the odds like for both series.
Let's start with the East.
Yeah, start with
Oh.
the East.
All right, what
So
do we got? Plus 150, minus 150 for Florida, plus 130 for New York.
yeah,
I
I mean, I want to start off with this really quick, right? For the Rangers, as President Cup Trophy winner, number one team in the NHL, being the underdog in this series is a fucking travesty.
It's not, Brian, and here's the reason why. You ready? Like I said before, if that was them playing to their potential against Carolina, that's going to be a big problem, and I think Vegas is counting on that being their full potential there.
I think I forgot I forgot who it was that I remember seeing. I forgot what player it was that said it, but like, he was saying like, we're gonna be playing like a bunch of like underdogs and all stuff like every time, which honestly I respect the hell out of his comment and all stuff, but and I do feel like it's the same as well, like they definitely do have underdog mentality like going into this series for sure. I mean, for Florida to be heavily favored, I can respect that.
That's not heavily favored.
Well, they are favored to win the series. I mean, if you can see
Yeah,
them.
but that's not. Yeah, but that's not really heavily favored. Heavily favored is when you get into like minus 190, minus 200, and
Well,
then more than that. But like that's. You know what this reminds me of? You ready for this? You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Super Bowl 2 years ago when the Chiefs were the underdog. That's what this reminds me of. And who was that against? Cameron, was that the Eagles? Like, I'm sorry to bring it. No, it wasn't the Eagles. It was the Eagles. It was the Eagles.
The Chiefs game where the Eagles should have won the fucking game and then the rest fucked
Yes.
them over.
Yeah. So okay, it was the Eagles. This reminds me of the Super Bowl.
Listen. Miles Sanders caught that fucking ball. I will die on this hill. He was inbounds. He fucking caught it. Anyways, continue.
But betting odds wise, that's what this series kind of reminds me of is like kind of bringing that back a little bit because, I mean, how realistically how do you have the Chiefs as an underdog in a game like that? So I mean, I kind of see where it is. It's not that big of an underdog. It could have been a lot bigger. It really could have. Because I think at one point the Canes were minus 250 for the series against the Rangers at one point. So I think that's more of a big underdog story there for the Rangers compared to this series.
Yeah. Cameron, what do you think?
About the series.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that they have the Rangers listed as the underdog. I mean, I can see why Florida's favored considering the fact that they went to the Cup Finals last year. But I don't know. I think the only reason that the Rangers aren't the favorite is because they won the President's Trophy.
That's a fair. It's fair, but
And in all honesty, those lines could be a lot different.
it could
It,
definitely change like after the first two games. I mean,
but not even that. Like if we're talking like if we really want to talk about like I said, if we want to talk about an underdog story when you had the Carolina Hurricanes at minus 225 at one point for that series, like before the series started, that's where you can really complain. At least this, like, yeah, it sucks for the Rangers to be an underdog here, but I think that this would be more of a series where they'd be considered an underdog compared to the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't think Carolina was that good. But I think Florida would be. I think Florida's the right pick here. I think that they had that those lines are pretty solid there. Now the West, I think, could be a little more skewed in my opinion. I feel like Dallas should be more of a favored team against Edmonton than what Vegas has them at.
I mean, it, it could definitely. I mean, I agree. I agree with that. I mean, like just looking at it from like both standpoints, right? Like both of these series, like both series in general are going to be really good series no matter what. They're both going to be very good to watch. Um I think it'll be a lot more entertaining to watch than last year if I'm not mistaken. I mean, last year
No one wanted to see Vegas win, so.
yeah, everybody wanted to see Vegas win. Yeah. But
No, I said no one wanted to see Vegas win.
oh, but yet they won.
I would have rather seen Florida last year than Vegas.
True. But even then, let's just say hypothetically, right? Florida did win the cup last year. It would be very hard for them to like repeat, like to go back to back champions. But and it's also very hard for teams to like go back to back in like to like the final. I mean, granted, we did see Tampa Bay do it 2 years in a row, right?
The Penguins did it too.
Yeah, Penguins did it too. I mean, is it a possibility that Florida can do it? It's a possibility, but it's also a fact of like, we mentioned it earlier, like just the matchup between Florida and the Rangers. Both teams play very equal as far as as far as everything goes. I mean, both teams on paper are literally picture perfect. It's I also did mention earlier, like it's also going to be a battle of goalies as well. So it's going to be a huge toss up, but if the Rangers do end up like moving on to to um to the final, they'll have to like try to compete against a team like Edmonton or a team like Dallas, which I think Dallas can be, will definitely be a good matchup for the Rangers. Rangers versus Edmonton in the final, I I just think the Rangers would literally like bulldoze like Edmonton in like 4 or 5 games.
So are you ready for this, Brian? If the Rangers make it to the Cup,
Mm-hmm.
you want to talk about being an underdog? I can guarantee you those lines will be plus 160, 175 for the Rangers in the Stanley Cup Finals. I can tell you right now. It does not matter who they play; they will be more of a heavy underdog than they are against Florida.
I mean, but even then, right? Like, let me just see what.
Brian, they're at plus 400 to win the Cup right now. They're fourth. They have the fourth worst odds of winning the Stanley Cup.
Let me see.
They're at plus 400.
Well, that series winner.
Scroll up. Go to the right. No. Go all the way to the right on that one.
It says it down there. It
Right
literally
there.
said it. Go back.
Right there. No, right there. That's where you want to be. They're at plus
where?
400 for the Cup Finals. They're at plus 400 for being the cup for winning the Cup. You want to talk about what bad lines are going to be? If they make the Cup Finals, don't be surprised if you see them at plus 160, plus 175, 180, even 195. I wouldn't be surprised. So
I'm telling you, they'll make the Rangers the underdog because of the President's Trophy purse. That's what I think.
Why do you think they're plus 400 right now?
Yeah. I mean, it'll definitely go either way as far as like series goes, like how the series goes. I mean, now to go back to
While we're talking about this, I just want to
right
bring
there,
it
the
up.
one right, Brian, the
Oh,
one right
yeah,
next
yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. What were you gonna say, Cameron?
We were talking about this earlier, so I'm just pulling up the screenshot. You can talk while I'm doing so. Actually, I found it. Never mind, I'm a liar. The odds to win the cup right now from the from moneypuck.com for the 4 teams. Edmonton now has the highest odds to win the cup.
Which I don't understand how. I don't understand how that's possible.
So I'll read you the percentages in terms of just win the cup, not make the finals, just win the cup. With this being like showing it, it says to win the cup, Edmonton has 32.5% of a chance. Florida has 18.2% of a chance. The Rangers have 27.2% of a chance, and the Stars have 22.1% of a chance.
So Florida has.
I don't know how the Oilers got that, but
so Florida has the least chance to win the cup.
The least chance.
Okay, so now I know you're a biased Rangers fan, but tell me right now how wrong does that sound to you?
It sounds wrong that Edmonton has the. I'm agreeing. Like I think that number being low for Florida makes zero sense.
120%.
Otherwise, I think my problem is I don't think Edmonton's number should be that high.
Realistically,
they couldn't beat Vancouver. They couldn't beat Vancouver.
Realistically,
until
what they
7
should
games.
be doing, what they should be doing is flipping Vancouver, not Vancouver, Edmonton and Florida on that graph.
Maybe.
To be more accurate than what it is right now.
I think Edmonton should have the least amount of odds.
But that's the least amount of if they want to use that little circle graph that they have right there with those percentages, your best bet is to flip those two because there's no way in hell that Florida should have the least odds to win the championship right there.
I think Edmonton should have the least odds, but I'm thinking the biggest odds should probably be between the Rangers and Florida.
And whoever comes out of the East is winning the cup.
The only thing is, I'm scared. I'm genuinely terrified of Jake Oettinger. Like dead serious.
We can get more into that depending on if the Stars win, but I think doesn't matter. I think we're gonna see real hockey here in this series, and I think we're gonna really see probably the best series of hockey we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think what is it? Last year, remind me who it was that Florida played against last year, like in the ECF.
Boston.
Was it Boston? Yeah.
I think so.
They won in what was it like? I'm trying to remember how many games they won against Boston. Fuck, no, I gotta look it up.
I'm on it right, Brian. I'm on it right now.
Okay, cool.
They played. No, it was not Boston. They played Boston in the first round, Toronto in the second. The conference finals, they swept Carolina.
That was last year?
And then they lost to Vegas.
I thought they played Boston in the Eastern Conference for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
And then here you go. Here's the bottom half of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember watching the 4 overtime game.
Mm-hmm.
That was
the Kachuk winner?
That was the Kachuk winner, yeah. That game, I remember staying up all night watching that game, and I was just like, can this fucking game just finish, please? And then it was like Kachuk just like scores and all that stuff, and then it's like everybody's just like celebrating and all that stuff. You just see Kachuk just like, let's go. Like, let's get the fuck up.
Get me the fuck home. I want my bed.
Just get me the fuck home. I want my bed right now. Like
I
just
don't care if it's I don't care where it is. I just want to go sleep in my bed.
mm-hmm. I want to take a nice hot shower and just go to fuck to sleep.
Put my pajamas on. Put my
I
little
too
slippers
want
on.
to take a nice hot shower and go to sleep.
Mm-hmm. That would actually sound really nice right now.
But yeah, no, I just don't understand how you have Florida as the like least likely to win the cup. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't care. I don't care if they're playing a team of the fucking best Greek gods in the Eastern Conference Finals right now. They should not have the least odds to win the cup. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm wrong for saying that Florida is better than both Western Conference teams. Same thing with the Rangers.
Mm. What was it?
If Florida and the Rangers both have teams that are better than both Western Conference teams,
Yeah, that is true.
as long as everybody comes out of that series healthy, I think the cup runs to the East.
Yeah.
Hot take, but I think that's just how it is.
Yeah. By the way, Joey, like you're gonna like when you see the recording, you're gonna see like my fucking soundboard and all stuff on there. I'm just saying. So you're gonna have to work some magic to like
I'll figure it out.
not show my fucking soundboard.
I got it. Don't worry.
No, I think the soundboard should be shown. I think it should just be in there.
All right. All right.
Are you fine with that?
No, because like the multiple sounds that I have on my fucking soundboard is just like
Yeah, it's fine. You know what, Brian? That's fine because if the viewers want to request you to use one, they can tell you exactly which one they want you to use.
true. True.
So,
All right.
but yeah, I think that this how do I get off this? Whoa. I think whatever happens here in this series is gonna really show us what these playoffs are gonna be.
Yep. All right.
I disagree.
Any final closing thoughts before we finish off this our very first episode? Fucking hell!
Jake
Florida in
Ottinger,
7.
brick wall.
Florida in 7. The Panthers are winning in 7. The Panthers are winning in 7. The Panthers are winning in 7. And also on top of that, Nashville's winning 5 straight cups.
I knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming as well. I knew it was coming.
I don't think I have any final thoughts about anything really. I mean, Jake Ottinger, brick wall is always a good one.
I'm looking out
Rangers
for
in 6, Dallas in 5.
I'd keep an eye on Tarasenko and Robertson.
Yeah, Tarasenko freaks me out. I'm not gonna lie.
I would keep an eye on them.
Tarasenko is gonna be a beast. I think he's gonna
Before we-
be the sleeper. He's gonna be like the
Before
sleeper
we
player.
close this out,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what his playoff stats look like right now.
Mm.
Because
While you're doing that, I'm gonna make a case for everyone who will listen to the future episodes. If you hear me ever talk shit about your favorite player, please don't take it personally. This is my disclaimer now.
it's okay because
It's
you know
not
what?
me being
No,
biased.
no.
It's just me being a hater.
Listen, because here's the thing, and if they get mad at you for shit talking one of their favorite players, I could just go on eBay and buy a Clayton Keller jersey.
And then just burn it, of course.
Yeah, that's what it is. Also, by the way, Tarasenko has 5 points in 11 games.
Really?
Two
Could be
goals,
more than that.
2 goals, 3 assists. So I would not be surprised if he decides to just go ape shit and start putting up points at a high
Former
pace.
team.
I would not be surprised if he's playing with a chip on his shoulder right now.
Yep. All right. As we close this out, for our very first episode, this was fucking nuts. Expect us to do more episodes. See a lot of episodes
Once a
come out
week.
as well.
Once a week.
Yeah.
We'll plan once a week, and then if something big happens, like a big trade, and it's like middle of the week, we could always hop on for an emergency podcast and get that up right away.
Exactly. Yeah. You guys
So-
can follow us like on social media Twitter, YouTube,
It's all,
like
I
Instagram.
believe it's all the Blue Line Pod. I
Yeah.
could be wrong. I
Instagram,
know
TikTok.
they all
Instagram,
the Blue Line
TikTok.
Pod, or is one of them, like, are any of them the Blue Line Podcast?
YouTube is a Blue Line podcast, but there is a link tree where they can click the link, and it will bring them up with everything: the Spotify link, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Slay!
Mm-hmm.
Love a good
We
link
got
tree.
that one.
You gotta
We got
love
that one up
Linktree.
and running right away.
Gotta love
I never
Linktree.
used it before. That was a roller
It's hard.
coaster
It's
to try to
hard.
do it.
I put one together once for all my Coyotes related stuff. I'll send it to you guys one day. And I literally am not even kidding when I tell you it took me like an hour.
It took me 4 hours to figure out Linktree.
Linktree.
It
Linktree.
takes you to all my podcast episodes. It takes you to the petition link and everything. It's got all of it.
Yeah, you definitely have to send it to us, for sure.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. It's all I do.
All right.
See if I can come up with it.
So
But yeah, we're gonna aim for one a week, right, guys?
once a week,
okay with
podcast episodes. I mean, we don't know how long it's gonna be, honestly, but we just literally just talk a lot of hockey. We love just talking a lot of sports in general. Maybe during football season, like, we'll still be talking hockey, but we'll sprinkle in like football here and there, like just like if anything is noticeable does happen, we'll bring it up. Yes, Joey, you have your hand raised up.
I have a suggestion that I want both of you to agree on, and I think the viewers might like too. I think we should do a podcast for the post UFC 303.
Well, I think that'll be you and me, dude.
Kevin's getting on it. Brian, that is staying in.
That is definitely staying in. I don't care.
That was on cue.
That is staying in here. I don't care.
Do I want to know what's staying in?
So I was telling Brian that you two should agree, and I think the viewers should, that we should do a podcast after UFC 303.
That's all you guys. I'm not joining that. I don't do any of that shit. That's all you.
Brian said it'll be just us two, and then you left right as he said.
Okay,
Yeah.
in my defense, my Wi-Fi crapped out.
That was perfect timing.
It was like I had just finished my statement, and then it was just like, bloop, just left.
But yeah, that's all you guys. I don't know anything about UFC, so
You should watch it. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
no.
Or
What?
maybe what we could do is, Joe, we can try to make like a Twitch channel, if anything, and just stream like our live reactions to it.
That would be you, buddy, because I run this on my laptop, and to get my microphone to work on my computer with all this shit would be a shit show, because I don't know how to do any of it.
I got you, bud. I got you, bud.
So,
I got you, bud. Yeah, we'll definitely plan out a lot of different things. So from myself,
Y'all better check that chat. Y'all better check that chat. I sent that link tree in there.
I also, Brian, before we close it out, I also want the viewers to weigh in on this. Should we run when Emily gets on, because she'll be on a lot of these podcasts. She's our fourth co-host. She's just very, very busy with her job and everything.
I love her. Girl boss.
Slay.
Should we do a 4-person fantasy hockey league for bragging rights?
Ooh.
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
down.
no, yes.
I'm so down for that.
Can you do 4-person?
Yeah, you can.
I did not know.
I am not the best when it comes to fantasy, cause
Neither am I.
like a funny thing is that I did fantasy baseball 2 years in a row, and I never paid attention to my fucking fantasy team
And
whatsoever.
you never changed your lineups. And
Yep.
you never changed your lineups, did you?
Yep, I never changed my
You know who
lineups
forgets
whatsoever.
halfway through the season?
Well,
You know who forgets halfway through the season?
You,
Brian, guess what? It's for bragging rights on the podcast, so you're gonna have to change your lineup.
motherfucker.
All I'm saying, and I'm dead serious, all I'm saying is I'm getting Clayton Keller, and we're okay
what if-
with this.
What if I draft him first overall?
I will kill myself.
Then I'm
This
not
happened to
chanting
me.
a personal
I'm
rule.
gonna she'll if she hears this, she'll know who she is. I was in a league in which the girl who was running the league got first overall, and I called bullshit because she stole Clayton, and I went, "You're full of it." So I stole all of her best friend's favorite players in return, and everyone was not happy with me for the rest of the season. And I'm pretty sure I came in like last because I did not set my lineups.
Jesus.
I'm really bad at it. Like I'm dead serious.
But like when it comes to hockey, like I've never done fantasy hockey.
It's fun.
Very fun. It's fun. It's a blast.
Nah. I mean, we'll definitely plan out a lot of different things. Just keep up with our social medias for sure. If you guys definitely want us to do more podcasts, just for shits and giggles, let
But
us
you know
know.
what? If they want more podcasts, there's a great solution here. We could run 2 or 3 a week, not hour long, 2 hour long. We could do half-hour long podcasts 2 to 3 times a week during the off season, and we could run through each team as like a breakdown and a preview and like ideas of what each team should do.
I'm cool with that.
True.
That would be
True.
quick hitters, and it would just be, like if they want that, if that's something they want, guess what? We can cover your favorite team.
Mm-hmm.
I personally will not cover Carolina or Vancouver. I will sit
I
back
will be
and laugh
saying
all
this
the time.
right now. You can't pay me enough money to cover the Devils or Pittsburgh.
I'll take care of those.
But you know which team you do want to take. You do want to cover more.
Utah.
Yes, Utah.
I thought you want
I
nothing to do
can
with
cover
Utah.
Utah, but I'm gonna be mad about Utah, like the state, not the
But yeah, I think if that's something they want in the off season, we should do 2 to 3 podcasts a week, half hour, maybe pushing it 45 minutes because I don't think it would really take that long, and then cover each team and just break it down and kind of preview what we think should happen.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
That's if you guys are down with that too.
I am definitely down.
I'm down.
I'm down
All
for
right.
sure. All right. From myself, from Cameron, Joe, this is the Blue Line Pod. Let's go, Rangers.
Florida and 7.
Let's go.
You son of a bitch.